Hey guys, I get a lot of referrals and questions about headshots. So I wanted to clarify a couple of things. First of all, if you come to me and you're like, hey, do you do headshots? Or I'm looking for headshots. The first thing I might ask you is, what do you mean by headshots? Do you mean you just want one picture or a few pictures of yourself from here up as a profile picture for Facebook, LinkedIn, your business card, the little spot on your website if you're a realtor or whatever? That's a headshot. The answer is yes, I can do that. And I often will do it for groups, like larger groups who, they're putting their staff photos on their website, they have them on their business card. I typically don't do that for an individual just because it costs quite a bit of money for me to, I go on location, I don't have a studio, I have to set everything up. If you just need one photo, it's not super cost effective, but I will do it. For 1 to 5 people, it's going to cost the same amount of money. If there's 1 or there's 5, I just have to charge that kind of minimum. So if you just need one photo like that, I would say you could get a group of people together, or see if your office, if you work in an office, see if they would be willing to put together, a day where I come and photograph all of you at the same time, because that's going to be more cost effective. Or if you want me to come out, create 5 images for you, that's going to be the same cost as if there's 5 people getting one headshot. So, and I do that a lot for, teams of 20 to 30 or more. I'll come out and photograph you all at the same time, make you look really professional and cohesive as a team. So, but oftentimes people refer to a headshot as more of brand narrative photography, which is what we specialize in at WorkStory, but it's not necessarily a headshot. So that's why I like to ask, what do you mean by a headshot? If you mean you want a bunch of photos to use to sell your products and services in your business, that's absolutely what we do, but it's not a headshot. So, and it's going to cost more than, $100. Especially for creating a work story for you, which is what we would do to, that whole process that I've talked about before, where we plan out what you need, what do you want to communicate, who's your ideal audience, what are you going to wear, what's the location, do we need any props, all of that kind of stuff. That's way more involved than just you coming into a studio and getting one headshot. So that's the clarification. As far as, what are you talking about when you ask if we do headshots? So for a headshot, I thought I'd just explain the process to you, especially if you are a group, like a corporate team. What does it look like for me to come in and do headshots for your team? So I come to you, which is super convenient. You don't have to send your staff down to a studio somewhere. They don't have to leave their desk for long. In fact, usually takes me like 2 minutes to photograph each person, maybe 5, depending on how many options you want me to provide for them. So I come to you, I set up my lighting. Usually we'll go in like a spare office or a conference room, or even the lobby, or sometimes outside. I've had clients who want that look of like the blurred out outdoor background, which is super fun if the weather cooperates. Usually I can photograph about 10 people per hour, so that's kind of how we can budget time. I've had people do like a sign up for specific times. That doesn't always work great because, I can usually get people through pretty quickly, but it's a good idea to have a list, like a spreadsheet or a list of everyone who needs to be photographed, so we can make sure we don't miss anyone. So that can be helpful. Maybe, you just tell people, hey, don't leave the office between 10 and 1 because that's when we're going to be doing photos. That would be a long shoot. That would be for a big team. For smaller teams, 1 to 2 hours is all we need, sometimes less. I do include retouching with my headshots, and usually that involves just, any blemishes or shadows under the eyes. That's a common one. People usually want me to lighten lines or wrinkles around the eyes. Hair, people are always concerned about their hair. They're like, oh, I have a hair out of place. Don't worry about your hair. It's super easy for me to touch up hairs in Photoshop, like super easy. It's the easiest thing. Like a lot of times I'll, if one side looks flat, I'll just floof it a little. Or if it's too poofy, we can like smooth it down a little, get rid of flyaways. If there's hair in front of your eye, that's the one thing that's really hard to touch up. So I try to look for that during the photo shoot. What else do I touch up? Chins. A lot of people, as we're getting older, chins are an issue that I can kind of easily tuck up. I try to pose you in a way that your chin is not looking super double chinny, but that's an area. And the arms, a lot of times I'll slim arms. I can pretty much do anything. So during your headshot session, if there's anything you have concerns about, you just let me know. I'll make a note of it or remember. Or when I actually usually send teams an online gallery so they can go in and see their images larger and choose the one that is their favorite, and then you can let me know in an email if there's any specific retouching you want. The other option would be for me to sit down with you right after your session in your office. If you have time, I can do that as well, and you can look at your images on my laptop and choose the one you want. Sometimes with big teams that can take a lot of time, so the gallery is usually preferred, but if it's 1 to 5 people, a small group, or an individual, I like to sit down right with you and look at the images, and then you can just tell me like, hey, I don't like this shadow under my eye or something, and I can take note of that as we're looking at it together. That can also be helpful because I can help you choose. Sometimes people have a hard time choosing their favorite photo, like, I don't know, they all look the same to me, or, which one do you think would be the best if I want to communicate warmth and approachability? I'm an expert at choosing images. So yeah, that's how the process goes for team headshots. And so if you're looking for a headshot, let me know. Sometimes I'll do a headshot event in conjunction with another event, like a business event in town. That can be an option for more affordability if you're just a single person. And then, of course, if you're looking for more of that narrative photography, telling your story, showing your story, that's not a headshot. And ask me about that too. I can come and meet with you. We can go over what that would look like. So I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.